hear live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
We're so back. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, Sam Lubman. The Pregame Show hath returned. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your host, Joe Spadoni. And for the next hour, you got me. I know you missed me. And let me know about it at 888-957-9570. And if you didn't, and if you know what, like, oh, Jonas Knox isn't on for the next hour? What? LeVar Harrington, Brady Quinn? What are we doing? Get this clown off. Well, you can tell me that too. 888-957-9570. Call or text that number. The text, obviously, is the Comcast Business Text line. Also, be sure to hit me up on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Search 95.7 The Game. Like and subscribe there. We are streaming all day long, 5 a.m. through 7 p.m., starting with Spadoni, ending with Grandy. The Italian two-step, if you will. And we got the morning roast. Chassis back today? Thumbs up. He is, because he had a show call yesterday. What are we talking about? Of course he's back today. And obviously, I've been gone the last 2 weeks. Chassis out last week. Been a lot happening in the 95.7 The Game. Off-air family. Papa Shasky, rest in peace. It's tough, man. It's very tough. He was a beloved member, not only of, our off-air community, but our on-air. The guy called all the time, so damn proud of his son, and hurts a lot. I know Joe is hurting, but he's anxious to get back on these airwaves, and we're going to miss Papa Shasky. I've been out because my father-in-law passed away. He was battling cancer the last 2 years. Bob Ingersoll, father of two, grandfather of two, loving husband, a Army veteran, a former police officer. Guy loved protecting and serving his community and his country, and unfortunately passed away. He was battling it. He was fighting it, but cancer is a mother. It sucks. I'm sure all of you listening have had someone, dealing with it, either a family member, friend, someone, and it's brutal. It's brutal. And to watch watch not only my wife, but my brother-in-law, Josh, my mother-in-law, Diana, be so strong throughout this whole process. It was honestly inspiring because, you're expected as, the in-law to, kind of be that rock, right? But all three of them, so damn strong throughout this whole process. And Bob, we're going to miss you. He was an avid listener to 95.7 The Game. The pregame show, he was a pregamer. And he wasn't really that into sports, but you know what? He was such, a supporter of mine and my dream. And that's not always the case, right? You have an in-law, they're like, hey, how are you going to support my daughter, right? How are you going to support so-and-so? Oh, you're on the radio. That's great. Isn't radio, quote unquote, dying? How much money are you making? Oh, not a lot. That's great. But he never said anything like that. No. By the way, Jade, she's my sugar mama. Don't tell anyone. But he was a huge supporter of this station. He loved Bonte and Shasky. He'd always be juiced when I got to fill in and talk to Bonte or Shasky. He's like, hey, why are they giving you such a hard time on this take? I was like, just for radio. Don't worry. It's not serious, Bob. It's not serious. So, say all that to say, we're going to miss you, Bob. We're always thinking about you. Thinking about Papa Shasky, Papa Steinmetz, obviously. So, rough couple months here off air for the 95.7 The Game community, but we love you guys. The amount of messages I got on Instagram, social, it was inspiring. It was awesome. And I can't thank you guys enough. But I'm so happy to be back talking about sports. I'm going to be honest. I was itching. I watched a lot of stuff this past week. There was so much stuff we're playing catch up today. That's what we're going to do. We're playing catch up on the pregame show because a lot has happened. I haven't even gotten to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo getting popped for PEDs. What? And thank you, by the way, Jimmy, because the Raiders are now off the schneid for your guaranteed money next year. It wasn't even like a PED either. It wasn't like some like prescription medication that wasn't, cleared through that. Come on. At least take the juice, Jimmy. I know he wasn't on it because, my God, he was just awful last year. If he was on some sort of performance enhancer, it did the opposite. Get your money back. It was not the Nugenics. Hit up Frank Thomas if that was the case. Get your money back. All right? Jimmy Garoppolo. God. Steve Wilkes is gone. He gone. But that happened already. I got to talk about that. What I haven't got to talk about is who they replaced him with. Well, according to reports, Nick Sorensen is the 49ers' new defensive coordinator, and Brandon Staley, yes, that Brandon Staley from the Los Angeles Chargers, formerly DC of the Los Angeles Rams, is now an assistant coach with the staff. So Nick Sorensen, obviously the defensive backs coach, gets promoted within, and that was always going to be it, right? You had to bring someone that was either very familiar, which Staley was, and there was a lot of murmurs that he was going to be the guy, or you have to promote from within. Is it going to be Chris Kasarik, longtime defensive line coach? Guy gets a lot of buzz every year. You already got Saleh head coaching job. You got D'Amico Ryan's head coaching job. Who was the next on the chopping block? Well, it's Nick Sorensen. Come on down. And is that going to work? We'll see. We'll see. I'll say this. I think Steve Wilkes got a lot of flack last year, and I get it. There was some sort of, I'm not going to say tension, but disconnect between the organization and Wilkes, the players and Wilkes, whatever it is. I don't think the defense was the reason the 49ers lost the Super Bowl ultimately. Now that's one game. There were many a times where the effort was just lacking. Now is that on the players, that on the coaching staff? I tend to blame the players more, specifically in that NFC Championship game against the Lions. But the time is ticking now. And I'm not saying it's ticking on Kyle Shanahan's head coaching, status with the 49ers. But whenever you got to move off a coordinator, and that you have to play the blame game in an offseason, it's not a good thing. So Nick Sorensen, we'll see if it works out. Kyle Shanahan's hoping it is, because if the defense has more problems next year, while the offense, as we all expect, looks good, then it's going to be another blame game. We'll see. I think a lot of people are freaking out about Brandon Staley being a part of the staff. You can't have enough people as an assistant coach. Relax. Assistant coaches, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, he could attract some of those Charger players that might get cut. Or the opposite. I know a lot of people are looking at Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack. Let's find out what the 49ers cap situation is. First of all, I know the cap's increasing rapidly. We got the NFL free agency period opening up. What is that, next week, Sammy? NFL free agency? I think so. I think it's next week. We got the combine happening. Just happened. Who's my guy? Worthy? Running a 4.240? Out of Texas? Al Davis, man. Back from the dead. Jumping up to the podium for the Raiders with that pick. Tell you what. Speed, baby. Speed. Speaking of speed. On the court yesterday, not on the field, as we pivot at 888-957-9570. What happened in Beantown?
Let's see if the Warriors shoot here. Try to get it under 50. Quinones has the basketball with 3 seconds. He's not going to shoot. That'll do it. And so the Boston Celtics, from the midpoint of the first quarter on, it was tied at 21, and then they put their foot on the gas with 3 Jaylen Brown threes, ending the first quarter on a 23-1 run. leading by 44 at the half, leading by as many as 56 and winning by 52. 140-88, the Celtics trounce the Warriors as the Warriors wrap up the 4-game road trip 3-1. So they do their job on the road, but they got it handed to them today by Boston.
Kevin Dana filling in for the great Tim Roy right here on 95.7 The Game, your home for Golden State Warriors basketball there. Great job, Kevin. Not great job, Golden State Warriors. And I'm going to say great job, Kevin, because in any sport, it's very difficult to talk about a blowout. Hockey and, baseball, probably the hardest, specifically baseball. If you're dealing with a blowout, what are you talking about for all that time? And I say hockey because hockey's just so damn hard in general. Imagine coming up to the enthusiasm and it's like a 7-0 game. Now in hockey, I guess it can flip really quick. You never know. A penalty, what have you. But baseball, very difficult. Basketball, sneakily, it's like a 50-point game. You're just looking at, all the bench playing. Oh, Guy Santos. Look at him. A team high -1 in the plus-minus. It's not hard. You got Jerome Robinson. Oh, good bucket there from Jerome. These are valuable minutes for Jerome Robinson. And thankfully, Kevin, who does the Warriors G League games, a lot of them, he's familiar with everyone. I'm not saying Tim Roy's not, but he's built for this stuff, right? He's built for it. And let's just say the NBA product hasn't been the greatest in the regular season the last few years, and there's been a lot of these blowouts. And I'm not going to talk about that, too much because that's an overarching theme. The quality of play. Do we like it? Do the fans like it? The lack of defense, all that. It's a whole other conversation. I don't feel like talking about that. It was a one-off. You get over it. You know what? It was a successful road trip, as Kevin said. Problem I have, and I think a lot of Warriors fans do, and let me know at 888-957-9570. The post-game comments. Steve Kerr, why were you sagging off of All-Star Jaylen Brown?
You try different things. You have to pick your matchups. We wanted Draymond to be able to help on drives and make sure that we weren't giving up easy stuff in the paint. The killer was the transition from the beginning all the way till the end. They got 42 transition points, so you're not winning a game, with that kind of defensive or lack of defensive awareness.
So that's where you want to pick your poison with, right? Sagging off of Jaylen Brown? No. Force Al Horford or Derek freaking White or hell, Drew Holiday to beat me. I'm trying to lock up Tatum and Brown. Those two. No Kristaps Porzingis yesterday for Boston. No Kristaps, no unicorn. Now, did that help him? I don't know. Maybe. Evan Giddings, who does the pre and post, along with Mark Grandy throughout the year for the Warriors pre and post game. Sorry, it was a Warriors live, Warriors wrap up. I get it. He was saying this Celtics team reminded him of the Houston Rockets. Those Harden, Paul, PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon Rockets teams, Daryl Morey, and Mike D'Antoni. 7 seconds or less, basically, just chucking them up there. And that was the good version of the Rockets that we saw at the Celtics. And on the flip side, the Warriors were kind of like that bad version that missed, 27 straight three-pointers? That's what it looked like. It was ugly. And it was just, when I heard those post-game comments, and Draymond was talking about it, and we'll get his audio as well, that's the guy who's average. I feel like Jaylen Brown, and I don't feel like this. I know this. He's averaged 19, 6, and 3 against you in his career. He plays very well against the Warriors. Calzone, we love Jaylen Brown. And that's the guy, huh? That we're we're just going to, Jaylen Brown's just going to have to beat us. Well, he can do that. I know Tatum gets all the shine, but Brown, he got paid, man. He was the highest paid player. Is he still the highest paid player in the NBA right now? One of them, they got a fat contract this offseason. A lot of us laughed at it. A lot of us were like, oh, well, really? We're going to pay all that money for the Robin? And, yeah, you got Batman, but Robin's getting all that much too? Well, made him pay yesterday.
Jalen sizing up Draymond Green. He'll step into a three. This time it's contested and it doesn't matter. That's 3 straight threes for Jaylen Brown, and it's 30-21 Boston. Derek White goes backdoor for Brown, who punches it down. 92-44. Jaylen Brown with 27 points.
That was 27 points to put them up 92-44 in the third. 92-44. That's incredible. And it ended up being worse, as the final was 140-88. But it's okay. And I'm laughing because, you know what? That's a game you laugh at, Warriors fans. That's a game where it's just like, you know what? It's so outrageous. Rip the Band-Aid off, whatever. Hey, silver linings, as I go Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence here. Silver linings. Got a lot of rest for Clay, Dre, and Steph, ending up against Milwaukee, right? This Wednesday. And as you peep at the Warriors schedule, as the Brits say, or Jerry Jones says, you got the Bucks, this homestand. Then you got the Bulls, the back end of the back-to-back this Thursday. Then you got the Spurs. Then you got the Spurs again on Monday in San Antonio. Mavs, then at Lakers next Saturday. So this is going to be a crucial stretch of games here. Taking care of business at home, first of all, against the Bulls and the Warriors. We'll see with the Bucks. But the Bucks, they're not stopping anyone on defense. So as long as Stephen Curry doesn't have the half that he had this past game, and I don't even know if Steph has a good half there in this game. It's just how amazing Boston was playing. But as long as he's not putrid like he was, I like their chances. They have as good a chance as anyone. Now, the West is very interesting right now. And I've been off for a couple weeks now, so I've been able to, from a distance, keep an eye out on what's going on in the Western Conference. And you got the Thunder. And they're good. 42-18. They're good. Timberwolves, good. Nuggets are great. They're 42-19, half game back of the 1 seed, tied with the Timberwolves. They're right there. That game they had against the Lakers, what was that, Saturday night? I feel like I've saw that game 6 or 7 times now against the Lakers, where it is a tight game. The Lakers have a small lead. The Nuggets have a small lead. It's tight. And then the last 5 minutes, the clutch time, right? We keep hearing that phrase, in the clutch for the Warriors, because they have so many clutch losses this year. Well, the Nuggets have to lead the league in clutch wins. I'm just convinced. They've won 6 straight. They look like the best team in the West. Look like the best team in the league outside of Boston. And now, right now, if you're taking the Nuggets or Boston, give me the Nuggets because of one man and one man only. That's Nikola Jokic. Although Jamal Murray might be the most underrated star in this league right now. We were just talking about Jaylen Brown being underrated, and he is. But he got paid. Like, I don't know how underrated you can be when you get that much money. Jamal Murray just doesn't get talked about because of the guy on his own team. It's incredible. It really is. So the Nuggets, they're right there at the 3 spot. Then you got the Clippers. Then you got the Pelicans. You got the Kings right there at that 6 spot. And then you got the play-in spots. Suns at 7, Mavericks at 8, Warriors 9, Lakers 10. Right now, by courtesy of the loss column, Warriors have 1 less loss than the Lakers. And by virtue, they have a 0.001 point ahead of them. So the Warriors are in the 9 spot, Lakers 10 spot. If the season ended today, the Lakers would be coming to Chase Center for the play-in game round 1 scenario. But I'm looking ahead. And I'm looking at how this team is playing right now. And I get it. A lot of people are still skeptical about what this team can do, but they've been playing very well as of late. I'm not letting yesterday skew my mind of what I think this team could do going forward. They got an opportunity here to get to the Western Conference Finals. I know. I'm saying this now on March 4th, 2024, the year of our Lord. I get it. But I'm just looking at where things stand in the West as far as contenders go. I'm going to need to see it from the Thunder, who will be a first time, their first time going through this. For Shea, Lou Dort, a lot of these guys. And I think some of them were there during the bubble year, maybe. I think Dort was. That was the Chris Paul team. I'm not really, sure. If you want to use that some experience, sure. Timberwolves, they got a taste last year. First round against the Nuggets. They actually took one against the Nuggets. In fact, I think the Timberwolves might have played the Nuggets the best out of any of the Western Conference opponents. More so than the Lakers, more so than the Suns. But we'll see with those squads. I'm not ready to just say, oh man, if they get matched up against the Timberwolves or Thunder, the Warriors still strike fear against some of those teams. A little bit. Maybe fear's strong, but the respect factor has got to be there. I mean, a lot of these young guys, whether it's Anthony Edwards, whether it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they grew up watching Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. And going toe-to-toe against them, they're either going to rise to the occasion and match them or shrink. And I would be more inclined to think the latter in those scenarios. And it's early. Spadoni, they have to even get out of the play-in. What are we doing here? I get that. It's March 4th. This is me projecting. This is what we do in sports talk radio. Talk about the future. And right now, the future looks good for the Warriors. Even at 32-28, 4 games over 500, and being in the 9th spot. 1.5 back right now of the 8th, 2.5 back from the 7th, and the 6th, with the Kings right there. Hell, the Pelicans at the 5 spot. 3.5 behind them. They're only 36-25. It's going to be fascinating these final couple months. I can't wait. I'm so happy to be back. 888-957-9570, the number. We're talking dubs. It's not just a one-off Warriors fans. You just rip the Band-Aid off, take a cold shower, whatever you got to do, throw out the game tape. The only thing that really, truly annoyed me was the comments post-game about, Jaylen Brown sagging off him. Steph was saying it was a players and coaches decision. It was a joint decision made. This is what we're going to do. We're going to sag off Jaylen Brown. And we're just going to live with Jaylen Brown. You know what? If you make shots, it is what it is. Why him? Why? Again, here's Steve Kerr talking about it after the game. You try different things. You have to pick your matchups. We wanted Draymond to be able to help on drives and make sure that we weren't giving up easy stuff in the paint. The killer was the transition from the beginning all the way till the end. They got 42 transition points, so you're not winning a game, with that kind of defensive or lack of defensive awareness. Yes. The lack of defensive awareness, though, started before the game. Get up on Jaylen Brown. The guy can't finish at the rim. He's not a good finisher at the rim. We know this. We saw it in the finals. The guy has brick handles. All right? Force him to take some hard shots from the outside. Don't let him get in a rhythm. Guy had 19 points in the first quarter? Come on. Steve, Draymond, Steph. You're better than that. And hopefully that was just a one-off. I don't want any of that, big brain thinking before the game. Sounds like someone set an idea. I don't know who it was. He was very passionate about it. And then the other guys are just like, all right, let's try it. We're tired. The end of a road trip. Maybe it'll work. Maybe we'll win the game. And it didn't. And I can understand Warriors' frustration being like, all right, hey, we're the 9 seed right now. Can we really be affording to, just having these kind of big brain moments? Let's see, throw this at the wall, see if it sticks. Are we really doing that right now? When every win or loss matters? Is under a microscope? I'll say this, though, as I know we're up against it, and we'll pick it up on the other side. More of your calls, more of your texts. It's set right now for the teams that are going to be at least in the play-in tournament. The Jazz, they're done. I'm kicking them to the side. They're the 11th spot. They're 5.5 back from the Lakers and the Warriors. I don't see them climbing back in. They're on a 3-game losing streak. I think they're going to lose more. They're done. So the 4 teams right now, and we could add the Kings and the Pelicans there in the 6 and 5. Those are going to be, and we'll just do it. Yeah, we'll just do the 6 teams right there. Sorry, 5. My math's all over the place. No, 6. Is it 5:26 a.m.? It is. It's my first show back in 2 weeks. It is. Get off my back. All right. Pelicans, Kings, Suns, Mavericks, Warriors, Lakers. Some sort of that combination. 4 of those teams are going to be playing in the play-in tournament. The Warriors are just hoping they're not one of those teams. And if they keep playing the way they've been playing prior to that Celtics debacle yesterday, I think there's a very good opportunity for them to make some noise in the West. Is that a hot take? Probably not. But I think there's still a lot of people, pussyfooting around here. Like, I don't know. Yeah, this team, they might make noise. Maybe. 888-957-9570. We're playing catch up here on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. I'm back, baby. We're back. Shasky's back in about 30 minutes. I'm fired up after that loss yesterday. Are you? Did you understand the reasoning from Steve Kerr, from Draymond Green, from Steph Curry, sagging off of Jaylen Brown? That was going to be the decider for them heading into this game. I'm just perplexed. I really am. More of that, and I got to get into it. I know it was last week's news. I don't care. It's catch up for me. Draymond, really? Really, Draymond? Am I guy? We'll get into that. Plus, wait till you hear about the big name at the NFL Combine. It's not who you're thinking. We're going to discuss it next on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same. But at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Thank you, Tim. Kevin Dana filling in for Tim Roy over the weekend, but hopefully get Tim back on the airwaves soon. I'm glad to be back on the airwaves talking to all of you lovely people. If you're just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for the week, school, anything you got going on. You know, spring break's coming up. We got early Easter this year, right? When is it? 24th? Easter Sunday. 31st. There we go. Early Easter. So early spring break. Look at that. The groundhog was a Punxsutawney Phil, my guy. He didn't see his shadow. That's how it works, right? I think I'm getting that right. So it's an early... rat. A giant rodent. I think of the movie Groundhog Day every single time. We actually watched that movie, believe it or not, in my theology class in high school. It was world religions. Maybe it was, I don't know. But basically, I never viewed it through this lens, but it makes sense. Phil Connors, and we're talking about the movie Groundhog Day, was in purgatory. He was just reliving the same thing over and over and over again until he learned his lesson. And then he had to go back to his normal life. It was very interesting, using kind of a biblical view through that movie. I never have done it before. Now, take what you will from that, but as I step back here and pivot back to sports, we had the NFL Combine going on over the weekend. We had quarterbacks throwing. And I see him on my TV right now. J.J. McCarthy out of the University of Michigan getting a lot of buzz lately. He's got all the arm strength. He's got the physical skills. He's athletic, can run. The problem is the guy just never threw the ball. And when he did throw the ball, there were some nice plays. I'm not saying there wasn't good ones. But the ones that I have circled in my mind is the pick that he threw in his very first pass of the college football playoff against Alabama that thankfully for Michigan got called back because the player didn't reestablish himself, whoever the Bama player was at the time. Maybe it was Kool-Aid McKinstry. I just love saying the name Kool-Aid McKinstry because who doesn't like the name Kool-Aid? Shout out grape, shout out strawberry, shout out watermelon, which is the GOAT. But J.J. McCarthy is a very interesting quarterback here. And I know I'm talking to a lot of San Francisco people. The Niners, they're not taking a quarterback in the first round. Doesn't mean we still can't talk about it. Because there's a possibility that 5 or 6 quarterbacks go in the first round this year, which would be incredible. Because for the longest time, we're thinking about it as a 3-horse race, right? We're thinking about it as Caleb Williams, bona fide, number 1. He's the guy. I think everyone can write that down. If you don't believe so, well, I don't know what you're smoking. He's dynamic. Now, if you don't think he's a Andrew Luck type of home run, a John Elway, that kind of a guy, that's fine. But the talent is undeniable. All the scouts see it. All the NFL GMs, everyone who is anyone thinks this guy's going number 1 overall. Then you got Drake May and Jaden Daniels. And now it kind of seems like the star is fading a little bit on Drake May, and Jaden Daniels' name is getting talked about more and more. He just won the Heisman. He had an incredible year. Obviously, former ASU Sun Devil, transferred over to LSU. Go Tigers. And the rest is history, won the Heisman. And could he surpass Drake May? And could he be the second quarterback taken in the draft? It's going to be interesting. Drake May, though, still discussed in that group. Obviously, quarterback from North Carolina. And stop lying to yourself. If you watched a lot of ACC football, God love you. If it wasn't Florida State. He showed flashes. He had to put the team on his back a few times. Inconsistent. Quality of opponent. Okay. But again, the the physical talent, the athleticism, that's a common trait between all those three guys. Then we get to, the second tier. And a lot of people are putting Bo Nix out of Oregon and J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. Bo Nix, God love you. You were in college for like 6 years. I'm out. I'm just going to say that forefront. I don't want anything to do with Bo Nix as my franchise quarterback. Lock it in, set it in stone. I'm just out on guys being in college for 5, 6, 7 years. What was that Tommy Boy line? Yeah, a lot of people go to college for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors. Bo Nix, I'm good. J.J. McCarthy's very interesting because you talk to a lot of the quote-unquote experts, the film guys, and they'll tell you, the Greg Cosells of the world, the Ted Wins, there's reason to be very high on J.J. McCarthy. The sample size throwing versus running obviously should be, not a concern, but put a little dot or pin in that because they didn't ask him to throw the ball out. Now, is that because they had such a dynamic running game? They had such an elite defense. They were milking the clock. They were controlling the game. Okay, if that's a Harbaugh call. But I like to think that if you have an elite guy, you let it rip every now and then. And occasionally, JJ did that, but he wasn't asked to do that like a Caleb Williams, like a Jaden Daniels, like a Drake May, hell, like a Michael Penix, who I haven't even gotten to. I'm shocked we just watched the season we did with all these quarterbacks and Michael Penix's name. Outside of the physical, which is really the only reason why he'd be slipping to the second round, because he has had 2 major injuries to both of his knees. The guy's, I get it. Guy's a walking clipboard when it comes to injuries. But he's been pretty healthy the last 2 years, and this last season was pretty damn incredible. He's got the arm strength. He's got zip on it. He's got the touch. He's got the deep ball. We all watched it. Hell, even in the national championship game, there was, I don't remember if it was a third quarter. I think it was late in the third quarter where they had a bogus OPI call or offensive holding call that wiped out a dime that Penix had to whether it was a Dunze or not. But one of their dynamic receivers for Washington. And it just killed all the momentum, if any, that they were going to have the rest of the game. And that game was basically over, closed and shut right then and there. But Penix is the guy, man. If you're not getting May, Caleb, or Jaden Daniels, I'm looking at Michael Penix, man. Not a bad consolation prize. We'll just say that. 888-957-9570. I didn't expect to do a whole segment on the Combine, but you know what? It was a big story, and we needed to talk about it because it's going to be talked about on NFL Network, ESPN, and all these stations the next coming months. I think we should get to know some of these guys. We should. As it pertains to the 49ers, we can get into that on the other side as well because they're going to have some question marks heading into free agency, which again opens up next week. And it's like Christmas for a lot of these teams with a lot of cap space, right? Well, for the 49ers, maybe not so much. We'll discuss that on the other side. Plus the San Francisco Giants, ladies and gentlemen, made a move. Could they make more? We'll talk about that on the other side on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain. The market might not care you have a wedding to plan or a kid to put through school. And inflation doesn't know you've got a family to feed. But Bank of America does, and is here to help. With digital tools to help you save and local experts in the Bay Area, you can keep life moving forward.
and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
We back. One more segment here on the pregame show, Joe Spadoni, before handing the baton off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Can't wait. The band's back together, back behind the glass of Sam Lovin. I can't wait. I'm fired up. I'm so damn happy to be back talking to all you lovely people again. If you're just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for school, I'm so happy you chose 95.7 The Game. Hope you've been having some fun. Talked a little combine last segment. You know, it's a big storyline. What's going to happen next week with NFL free agency opening up? Where are some of these quarterbacks going to go? Where's Russell Wilson? Where's he going to go? Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, some of those. Isn't it nice, 49ers fans, not to worry about that right now? Brock Purdy had a hell of a year. He was an MVP candidate for a lot of. He was an MVP frontrunner at one point. It's nice to not worry about the quarterback. I'll say there's other positions not to worry about down the line. Brandon Ayuk. But it's nice not to worry about the quarterback for once, which is the most important position in sports. But again, Bonte talked about it as soon as the Super Bowl ended. Hey, Brock, good year. Do it again. Because if you don't, maybe Kyle Shanahan wants to move on, which sounds insane after the year he just had, but also, if he doesn't replicate it, you know what? You're looking at paying this guy, and then you're like, oh, is he the guy? I don't know. I mean, from all we've seen from Brock Purdy, he's going to continue to do that because he's shown nothing but greatness. Not good, great quarterback play. He has. Do it again, though, because that's the nature of the beast. It seems cruel, but them the rules. Only a handful of quarterbacks get the benefit of the doubt with some poor play here and there and poor stretches. Hell, Patrick Mahomes just had his worst, as I'm doing it in air quotes because you can't see me unless you're on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Go and search 95.7 The Game and like and subscribe. There, ring that bell. Worst season for Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. How'd that work out for the rest of the league? That's so maddening. The AFC West, all those teams have got to be kicking themselves. This was the one year to win that division. And what happens? Total S show with the Raiders early on. Antonio Pierce takes over. They right the ship a little bit, but come up short. The Broncos, the Sean Payton, I almost said Sean Parrish. Sean Payton marriage with Russell Wilson. Yeah, that was looking like an annulment real quick. I don't even think it qualified for a marriage. And then, Justin Herbert getting hurt and Brandon Staley's Brandon Staley. So all the ineptitude from all the other head coaches in that division came to the forefront. And good old Andy Reid, he's just good enough to win that division. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce were just good enough to squeak in, get home field advantage in that first round. And it was minus a bajillion degrees. It looked like the planet Hoth. Shout out Star Wars. Thank you. And, the rest is history. They go on. They win their third Super Bowl. Just, second Super Bowl loss for the 49ers against that team. And then you're looking at Niners fans like, what the hell, Chargers? What the hell, Broncos? Hell, what the hell, Raiders? You guys couldn't have, done anything right this year to knock out the Chiefs? No, sorry. They're evil, man. They're evil. The sad part is, and the sick part is, they might get Mike Evans. Ugh. They're already talking about, potentially moving on from L'Jarius Sneed. Yeah, that baller L'Jarius Sneed, that was sticky man coverage all throughout the Super Bowl and playoffs and all year. All pro L'Jarius Sneed, cornerback. Yeah, they're like, yeah, we'll franchise him. And if we can't get a deal done, we might move off of him. They're so confident in that secondary that they're like, yeah, we can move off an all-pro. What a luxury. They're like, yeah, we're good enough with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes right now. In a bag of chips. Isaiah Pacheco. Okay. Oh, must be nice. Must be nice. Must be nice for Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman gets a deal, ladies and gentlemen, with the San Francisco Giants. Look at that. Farhan. Bo Mel. Little reunion there. Matt Chapman to the San Francisco Giants. Let me pull up this thing. Pull it all up. Hey, get off my back. All right. It's been a couple weeks. Rusty. $20 million the first year for Chapman. $18 million the second. Player option opt out in that first year. Could become $38 million in the second. Could become $54 million in the third with the second opt out though. So basically I'm looking at this as 3 one-year deals in one. But for this season, we'll look at it as a $20 million deal. And for Matt Chapman, and I get it, he didn't have the greatest year last year. I think it's a great signing. I do. I know a lot of people, a lot of Giants fans are being like, oh, Casey Schmidt, though, he's blocking Casey Schmidt. Casey Schmidt is good enough offensively, which he wasn't last year, which is why he got optioned back down. If he's good enough and his bat is good enough and Chapman struggles, he will get an opportunity and he can showcase that opportunity. If he is good enough, that play will shine through and he will get more and more opportunity. If it's not, he won't. It's as simple as that. The cream always rises with legit prospects. And Casey Schmidt came onto the scene hot, engulfed in fire and flame. He was awesome. And then what happened? Then he wasn't. But for Matt Chapman, this guy is consistent, plays all the time. He is the best at his position defensively at that hot corner. Now, what's it mean for J.D. Davis? He's probably gone. Which, he had a good year last year. But who do I want at third base? Matt Chapman or J.D. Davis? Not even close. Oh, also, a couple little golf clap. Brandon Crawford. Officially gone from the Giants. Now with the Arizona Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals. I was talking to my wife's uncle, Bill, who is from Arizona. So I'm saying Arizona Cardinals. He's a huge, I have met an Arizona Cardinals fan, people. I found the one. Bill Agar. Big Arizona Cardinals fan. But I was talking to him over the weekend about it and stuff like that. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, how he's feeling about them. And hey, when the Diamondbacks are good out there, the fans love them. They love it. And why shouldn't you? That's a sick ballpark. I've always wanted to go to Chase Field. That pool, there's something about it. It always just looks like a fun party. They always have the crazy food options. It looks fun. And now apparently the owner's also like doing the John Fisher, which I guess all these owners are doing now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if our future's destined here in Arizona. God, some of these owners, man, I hate them. I do. I don't mind saying that. I know I teach Benny and Nora not to use the word hate, even though Benny tells me he hates me sometimes. I hate you, Dad. You still have to brush your teeth and go to sleep. Sorry, Anakin Skywalker. I hate these owners. I really do. They're greedy SOBs. Charlie in New York, though, is not a greedy SOB. Charlie in New York is loyal to 95.7 The Game. What's going on, Charlie?
Hey, Joe, what's up, man? I want to tell you, I know you're talking baseball a little now, but I wanted to talk about the Combine and,
sure.
And our Raiders. A big Raider fan like you, 45-year Raider fan, so I'm old as dirt. The Raiders, they, who do you think they will draft? Well, let me rephrase that. Who do you think will be their starting quarterback next year?
Ooh, that's a great question, Charlie. Hang on real quick because I want you to respond too because I want to know who you think.
Yeah.
Who do I think will start for the Raiders next year? I think it's going to be someone from this draft. I do not believe it's going to be a free agent. I think they want to go young. I think it's going to be Michael Penix because I think he's going to be there for him. What say you?
I don't want Kirk Cousins. I don't want Russell Wilson.
No.
Kirk Cousins was having a great year last year, but after a torn Achilles, and he's going to. I am intrigued by Justin Fields. I'm not a fan of his, and he didn't work well with Luke Getsy.
Yeah, I don't think that's good. That marriage isn't going to work again with Getsy as the OC. I just don't. Yeah. I don't see that. Yeah.
I don't see them. I think they're going to try to move heaven and earth to move into the top 3 to try to get Jaden Daniels. I don't think that will happen. I would love Michael Penix. Of the people in this draft, he's actually one of the guy I like the most.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. If you're Bo Nix, if you're in college for 6-7 years, you're a doctor. You're not a quarterback. So at 13, do you draft Penix or do you wait and take a chance that he's there at? I think they picked 44th.
I think you wait. Yeah, no, 13. That's a little too rich for me. And thanks, Charlie. We're up against it. That's a little too rich for my blood for Penix up that high. But who knows? Stuff gets a little crazy in the NFL draft, which is a couple months away. Is that back in New York, by the way? I don't know where that is. I'll find that. But stuff gets a little crazy. Names start getting thrown out there, and then teams get quarterback happy. So we'll see. I think he might be a late first rounder, and if that's the case, the Raiders can trade back in. But it's going to be fascinating with all these quarterbacks. Yeah, I'm out on Bo Nix, as you heard from Charlie there. Out on guys that are in 5, 6, 7 years. Sorry, Mark Grandy, I know. That duck can fly. He's also going to go into a tailspin in the NFL, I can tell you that. J.J. McCarthy, too much of an unknown for me. Didn't throw the ball a lot. Great, he has all the athleticism. He has all the tools. I don't know. Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, I think they're all gone within the first 3 picks. And then all the other ones start going after that. What happens with the Falcons? There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. What are the Giants going to do? Right? Are the Broncos going to take a quarterback? Are they going to take a Bo Nix or something like that? What's going to happen here in these next couple months in free agency and everything else? I can't wait to talk about it. I know that. And I can't wait to hear from the Morning Roast up next with Bonta Hill, Joe Shasky. Have a good day, everyone.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the